But first this morning, new figures shared with Sky News suggest that police are failing victims of so-called honour crimes. Only 5% of cases reported to police end up going ahead with prosecution. Well, the Iranian and Kurdish women's rights organisation says that of the 5,000 cases taken to police, only 256 reach the Crown Prosecution Service. Honour crimes are crimes that have occurred within households, families or communities arising out of a perceived insult to honour. Sky's Charlotte Lomas has more details for you.
I became pregnant, and even then the abuse continued.
Speaking through an interpreter, this woman says she was raped and abused by her husband throughout their marriage.
I was forced to have an abortion when I was 4 months pregnant. I wasn't allowed to speak to my family or anyone else during this time. If my father had not come to rescue me, my life would have ended for sure.
She says she tried to report the case to the police, but they didn't pursue it. Sadly, it seems her story is all too familiar. Figures obtained by a charity campaigning against honour-based abuse show the number of crimes being reported is rising from more than 3,300 in 2014 to over 5,000 last year. But only 256 honour crimes were referred by the police to the Crown Prosecution Service over a similar period. That equates to just 5% of cases. And to put into context, when compared with domestic abuse, 28% of all cases are passed on for prosecution. The charity that carried out the research says more needs to be done to ensure a victim is fully supported in seeking justice.
If it continues to be like that, many women just don't feel confident to come forward because they may not trust that something happened, either for their safety or persecution of the perpetrators. What it is important for women to see that there is a process that women go through for the safety, and they need a guarantee that they are safe and they can continue a new life and free from violence, free from fear of being killed.
An inspection of police forces in England and Wales in 2015 found a stark lack of awareness of the nature, complexity and scale of the issue and made a list of recommendations for change which will now be reviewed.
There were some forces that felt that honour-based abuse wasn't necessarily an issue in their forces, and that was born out of a lack of knowledge as to the nature of honour-based abuse and the different forms that it can take. The responsibility lies with those organisations to whom individuals are making referrals. It's their responsibility to ensure that these cases are properly investigated.
For many victims of honour-based crimes, it takes all the courage they have to take the first steps and report their suffering. Campaigners say more support and understanding is needed if more women are to be saved from a life of violence. Charlotte Lomas, Sky News.